question why it's being asked is I agree that there's going to be unique things that women can bring to the table that men can't. For instance, women are going to be able to have babies. Men aren't going to be able to have babies, right? So we could say that that's a unique characteristic that a woman's going to bring to the table. But when women give it the expectation that, well, I'm looking for a guy who is masculine, provides resources, this and that, and protection being a big one, we're looking for what the counter trait is that he can expect from you that he doesn't just already have as a standard, right? So like if you name a trait like loyalty, the expectation of loyalty on both ends, that's just standard, right? Love, that's going to be just standard across the board. Protection is not, though. That's something that's unique to him, not generally going to be unique to you.
Okay.
So what is like kind of the offset to that? What are these unique principles which offset that you would bring?
I think that the big one is, like I said, like being feminine. I feel like let's say like a real masculine man, there's no femininity in there. There might be small traits of being like a provider, like a protector. That's like, this shows like a sense of nurturing in their way. But
yeah, what would the offset for something like protection be?
That's what I mean, nurturing. Like that would be the
well,
the
if you say
offset.
femininity, the offset that he's already bringing is masculinity, right?
Yeah, that's
could
right.
I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you're married, right?
Yeah.
What traits did you look for in your wife? Like, why did you decide to pick her?
Well, that's a kind of complex, but I can give you the major reason.
Okay.
The major reason is that I knew for sure that she would be a wonderful mother to my children. More than anything else, I knew that she was going to be a wonderful mother to my children and that she was going to obey. So those were two big... Yeah, I don't know why that's funny to you.
Because I was like,
do you think that men want disobedient, willful women? Because they don't. They don't want that. They don't like that shit.
I thought it was sounding very sweet, and then the obey thing was like, whoa.
What's not sweet about the obey thing?
I don't know. It's the way you said it.
It's the word choice.
It's
the word choice.
Wait, don't you like traditional? Don't you like traditional relationships?
I said it's the word choice. So he might have meant like somebody who's more submissive. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
like
I meant
said.
somebody who will obey my commands.
Yeah, I know you're
Jesus.
exaggerating, but
like
there's
that.
no
No,
way.
I'm not-
There's
I'm not
no way.
exaggerating.
Well,
Darth Vader
I don't
up in
believe it. I don't believe it. There's no way.
I don't know. I don't know why people think that this is so unrealistic. Yes, what I literally mean in actuality is I give command, you obey command.
So you're
in
like-
actuality.
I want to say
Yes.
something. I want to say something regarding this. I grew up in the Middle East, and what Andrew say, even the women in Israel where I come from, they all like dress sexy and look good and go to the army. All of them, when they go into a relationship, except the radical feminists, of course, but the majority of women, okay, they have like a excitement to obey their man, to cook for him, to love him, to do his errands, to take care of the kids. I think for me personally, like if I have a man that I love in my life, to obey to him and to even worship him. For me, my man is my king, right? So for me, it's exciting, it's arousing, it's everything mentally. So here in America, like she said, like when a guy said, I want my woman to obey me, they're like, what the hell? Because you're so used to being independent and feminist mentality, like, oh my God, no, he's not gonna tell me what to do. I'm gonna do what I want. Like for the woman, everything, what you call feminism, to us, it's like literally disrespecting men, hating men. You guys treating men like they're only an ATM machine. What you can get out of them, how you can play them, how you can manipulate them. For American women, unfortunately, that's the mentality. You guys trained to have this prostitute mentality since an early age. You see girls like, oh, buy me this, take me there, pay me this.
Well, hang on. Let us briefly finish the exchange because we were tangling on the exchange. And I thought that it was a fair question to ask, right? Like, what are the traits that you wanted in your wife? So let me explain so that you understand why it was that I valued what I did.
Yeah.
When I was in my early 20s, I knew a woman who had a baby. And I remember visiting with her with another friend of mine because I knew her from school. And I remember her changing the baby, and the baby had a horrible diaper rash, awful diaper rash. Didn't look like it was very well taken care of. It looked like a pretty bad situation ultimately. And I remember thinking in my head right then and there, there's no way, right? The one thing that I would value above anything else when I have children, I want my kids always clean. always clean, always dressed. I want them always well fed. And I want to never have to worry about that. I never want to have to ever worry that mom is so fucking lazy, right? Or so into herself that she's valuing herself over my child, right? Exactly. That was a big thing for me, right? Having seen what I would only consider child neglect firsthand, I was not ever going to deal with that. So that was the big thing that I valued more than anything else. But I also wanted what you would call submission, which would be an obedient wife, meaning that there was a threshold breaker in the relationship. If we could not come to an agreement on a pinnacle situation or a pinnacle, crossing of the hill, as it were, that I was going to be the threshold breaker. Essentially, when I said, okay, we can't agree, but we're going to have to do this anyway, that I was going to be the one who made that decision. And that's what obedience is. And so, yes, I think that these are traits that men select for and that we care an awful lot about. And so in order to do that, we have to select for women who are going to self-sacrifice for their husband and their family more than themselves. And so there's all sorts of like micro traits, which is what we're asking these questions about. What do you bring to the table? Basically, what's great about you? The idea here is to make the determination of, is there so many of these kind of tangential traits that if a man were to have children with you, are you going to fuck his kids up? Right? Are you going to mess his kids up? Are you not going to take care of them well? Are you going to be so narcissistically into yourself that you don't even pay attention to them? Right? This is what men are looking for. So that's why the questions are asked.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay, so I just wanted to say, how do you figure out if someone's obedient? Like, did you earn the obedience, or were you like, are you obedient? Like, how did you figure that out? Because I'd like to share my situation.
I talked to her on the first date.
Yeah, you're like,
said, these are the qualities that I'm looking for, right? If there's something that I think ought be done, and you're resistant to that thing, I don't want to have a long-term relationship with you. I was just as blunt with my wife as I am with everybody I meet in life. Very clear, crystal clear about the things that I want and the expectations that I have. And you know what? In comparison to modernity, the expectations that I had were super high. Very, very high expectations. And she came with some problems of her own, but I felt like the trade-off was fine considering my expectations were so high, and she was willing to meet those expectations.
Yeah, I think.
I want to add something to.
I just wanted to share my story.
Okay, sure. Sorry.
Because you're talking about how like Americans like don't like doing whatever.
the
Okay.
interruptions.
Anyways, so basically, my 2-year relationship. We took on more traditional roles. I would make dinner for him, and like I'd wake up early and make him coffee and stuff, and I learned to like trust him and listen to him, but it wasn't because he was like, obey me, go do this for me, like I'm telling you what to do. It was more like he would give me a suggestion and I'd be like, actually I don't think I'm gonna do that, I think I'm gonna do my own thing. But sometimes I would end up messing up and I'd be like, maybe I should have listened. And then that would keep happening until I learned to trust his opinion. And so I was just like, you know what? You're kind of usually right. Like, so I think I'll just listen to it. And obviously, like.
Oh, perfect. He had to trick you into submission.
No, it's
great. Right? Well,
no,
okay.
It's not
maybe
sad,
some women like to be tricked into submission.
Manipulated.
Right?
It's not a trick,
I'm
though.
secretly submitting, but in reality, I'm going, no, I'm not going to submit. F off, even though I'm telling you that I'm going to.
Well,
and then when I just fail over and over and over, well, then I learned that I'm incompetent and so therefore should listen to you. That does not sound awesome to me. That sounds fucking awful to me, and I would rather pull my teeth out with a pair of pliers than deal with a woman that I had to trick into submission. That sounds terrible.
Wait, so you think that it's not okay to make mistakes?
No, I didn't say it's not okay to make mistakes.
Well, that's what you're
But
implying,
you,
right?
no,
You
I
didn't
think
say
that you tricked. You said that you had an agreement with this guy that you were going to do the things that he said.
No. There was no agreement.
Yes,
There's
hang
no
on,
agreement.
hang on. Then you can correct. You said he'd tell you to do something, and you'd say okay, but then you secretly wouldn't really do it.
No.
You would secretly resist it.
You're
And then you do it
misunderstanding
your
the
own way. And then when you
situation.
fucked it up, he'd come in and be like, oh, you fucked that up. And he went, yeah. And so over time, you started to listen to him. What did I get wrong there?
You get wrong that we had an agreement and that I was.
And what was the agreement, that you were going to listen to him?
No, there's no agreement. It was more just like consulting me on like
There
I
was
would come to him
agreement.
for advice.
What?
There
How do you
was-
say there was an agreement, and then in the next, there was no
I don't
agreement?
recall saying there's an agreement. I just said we took on traditional roles like slowly, and it's not because
Well, what
he
was
told
the-
me to. There's no agreement. We were just dating. It's just nice. I like taking care of him.
Well, you just said there was an agreement.
I know
No,
what you're
no.
trying to say, that you learned during the relationship
Yeah,
that it
yeah.
was
I mean,
rewarding to listen to him.
right,
But I
like-
think what Andrew is saying is like a lot of men don't want like a woman that is going to be like a small child that needs to be taught to listen and trust a partner. That can
Yeah,
be
I don't want to
quite-
have to roll up a newspaper and smack you on the nose, right? And be like, no. I don't want to have to roll up a newspaper and be like, no.
But I
Bad
have
girl.
sympathy
Don't
for
do
you
that.
because
Right? That sounds awful.
if you've never maybe I'm not going to make any assumptions, but from my own experience, if you've not had like a fantastic father figure that puts that trust
That's
into
what I wanna-
you,
that's
it
what I
can be
wanted to say.
difficult when you go into a relationship to go, well, why should I listen to this person? But you also want a man who's going to be, this gladiator that's going to protect you. But if you were, with a soldier and he said, do this, you would obey. But if you're with a man, you want him to protect you and provide for you, but you also don't want to obey him.
Yeah.
It's just...
So I have a question for
But-
you. If a man tells you to go just like jump off a bridge and you're like, I'm an
Oh my
obedient
god, this
wife,
is out of context.
Like, would you
Yeah,
listen
no,
to
But
but
this
them?
is like the
Can I-
bad thing.
can I
This is like
answer you-
Hang
I
on,
know-
hang
I know
on.
this is
Order-
like-
I
order
wanted
on
to
the
say
panel.
something.
Order
I think
on
that's
the
a jump,
panel.
like a
Calm
big
down.
jump to go
Hang
from
on,
this topic to
Wait.
hang on, hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Arlena, or no, I'm sorry. Is it Kydra? Is that your name? Kydra?
Kybra.
Kybra?
Yeah, it's like Kai and bra. Kybra.
Y'all have these fucking goofy names. But anyway, Kybra, go ahead and finish your point. Your point was to say that what if a guy asked you to jump off a bridge, right?
Well, the point I was trying to make is that these weren't things that were like he was asking me to do for him. It was me coming to him, or like I would let's say like it's like, oh, should I get this orange or should I get this like Cara orange or this orange? He says get the Cara or like I don't know. It's something very like small, but I just learned to trust him, and I don't know where the father figure thing comes up. Like if
I
someone
wanna
gives
tell
you
you where.
bad advice, then you're not gonna want to learn to like
Can I
follow
say
that
something?
advice. But if someone consistently gives you good advice, then you're gonna be like, yeah, this guy's good advice. I'll listen to this advice.
Well, yeah, to answer
Can
your
I-
question, if
I
my
wanna-
boyfriend told me to jump off a cliff, I would trust him and do it because it would probably be like the right thing. Like there's a bear behind us and there's a trampoline below us.
Oh my god.
What the
Can I say
So
something,
no,
please?
but what your question was.
Not even my
guys
dog would
jump off
Okay,
the-
I want to say
If I
something.
jump off a cliff, I would, because it would probably be the right advice.
this is every man's fantasy.
Because I know what you mean when you ask that question. You're not trying to. It's not a stupid question. It's like, well, would you trust him blindly? Is what you're asking.
I know,
and
but let's say
I
this
would
wasn't a
trust
safe
him blindly.
Can I answer you, please?
Yeah,
Well, it's not black and white, okay?
yeah.
If you're a real woman and you are passionate about the relationship and about having kids and get married and be with your man with everything, and it's rock solid, strong.
Yeah.
So even if you have the little obstacle or a problem, you're not gonna say, "Oh, I don't want to be with him. I'm getting divorced," and you're not gonna think about the kids first. Okay? If you have a real relationship, right? And no matter what's gonna comes in your way, the relationship and the kids and the family is gonna come first.
Well,
now,
no, it's actually easier. So it's
Well,
like,
obvi-
here's my answer to this.
but wait, let me finish my point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Andrew.
Go ahead.
Um,
Make your points a little
okay,
briefer
okay,
if you can.
okay. And she said, no, are you gonna jump off the cliff? No, of course not. If you're with a man that protects you and loves you, he's not gonna let you do crazy things, not jump off the cliff, and he's not gonna put you out
That's
there.
what I'm saying. Once
But-
you know and trust them, yes, listen
But
to them.
it's
But
not
when you're
even- let
first
me finish
starting
my
the
point.
relationship,
It's
But
not
this is
e-
the problem.
it's not
this
even-
is the problem with the secular perspective.
Let me finish
This
my-
is the
Sorry,
like,
sorry.
and even her perspective here, I disagree with, right? So.
No,
this
but
is
my
the
point
issue.
is that you
Look,
don't-
I'm sorry that I cut in and I'm cutting you off. I'm sorry that I interrupted your interruption. I'm sorry about that. But I would like to just briefly cut in here and answer your question. You're talking about a value structure. So as we were tangling on this, me and let me see. I think I got the I didn't get your name. British chick. What's your name?
Ruby.
On the right. What is it?
Ruby.
Ruby. Okay. So the reason I was laughing when you said the bridge jumping thing is because commands or things like this or obeyance has to comport with reason, which is why the value structure of the two people being compatible is what's necessary. So I don't even know how I would navigate a relationship with a secular atheist, for instance, but from a Christian paradigm, the value set is the same. Meaning they're going to know what comports with reason, because if you give them some type of command, which is to sin or something like this, they're not obligated to obey such a command because it no longer comports with reason, right?
Okay.
So that's how you can associate the value sets with the commands, and how you know whether or not it's okay for someone to ask you to jump off a bridge onto jagged rocks, right? I don't think it's any more complex than that.